Ms. Arella, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Happy to be here, Michael.
Now, talking about today, the YWCA says that the housing crisis in this country is deeply gendered. What do you mean by that?
What we mean is that women and gender diverse people across Canada are experiencing the most significant housing need in the country. So in addition to the fact that emergency violence shelters across Canada are completely overwhelmed and having to turn away over 1,000 women and their children every night, we also know that 1 in 4 women-led single-parent households are living in housing that's deeply unaffordable, inadequate, or doesn't otherwise meet their needs.
And the policy so far, as you see it, doesn't respond to that distinction.
That's right. So the National Housing Strategy has committed to 25% of their funding being dedicated to women-led housing projects. However, what we're actually seeing is that there's only a minimal amount of investment going to buildings that are dedicated to the purpose of housing women, gender diverse people and their families. And so we're really here calling on the federal government to recommit to their investment in gender equity under the National Housing Strategy.
So what would that look like? Would it be, for example, co-op housing that is particularly focused on women and gender diverse people? Would it be, for example, a grant program? What exactly are you looking for here?
So specifically, we are looking for a grant program from the federal government, and not only for permanent affordable housing, but also emergency shelters and transitional housing, because what we're seeing is that often it's women leaving situations of violence who end up in domestic violence or emergency shelter and need a safe place to move to and transition to as they rebuild their lives. But in addition, many women are not able to afford the housing rates and rental rates in cities across Canada. And so we're looking for the federal government to commit to funding non-for-profit housing projects across that full spectrum.
I want to pick up on what you referenced there about the domestic violence centers. As you said, increasingly overwhelmed. But is that a result of the pandemic, or is that the result of chronic underfunding?
I think it's really both. So we have seen that domestic violence shelters are being chronically underfunded and have been for many years. And over the course of the pandemic, when home was not a safe place for many women and their families, demand increased. And unfortunately, there was just no ability to increase capacity correspondingly.
Mm-hmm. And I think also important to note the fact that when you talk about the need that you are hoping to address, it's not just among women, but also gender diverse individuals. Why the importance of that distinction?
Yeah, so we at the YWCA believe in centering not only women, but also gender diverse folks in our work, because it's not only women that experience gender-based violence, and too often the services that exist, whether general services or services for women, are not meeting the needs of gender diverse people. And so making sure that as we build inclusive policies towards gender equity in housing, but also in other services, we're keeping gender diverse folks in mind.
So here you are in Ottawa talking to parliamentarians about the issue. What's been the response so far? Are you hopeful that there will be some action based on your meetings?
Yeah, we felt very encouraged in our conversations with parliamentarians of all political parties. I think that there is a real understanding that there's still a great need for housing, particularly among women and gender diverse people. And of course, more than just a positive reception, we are hoping for action on this. So really looking forward to what the government will commit in the next budget.
Okay, well, we'll be watching. Ms. Arella, thank you so much for talking to us and sharing your thoughts today.
Thanks so much.